Hello and welcome back to episode 8.
So, what do you want to know, gentlemen?
Let's see. How long was Albert a resident of the institution?
For quite some time, his first symptoms surfaced in his teens. Depression, panic attacks, and schizophrenia.
Was he brought here immediately after the first signs that something wasn't right?
You know, the biggest problem with an opinion on insanity is that animals are ashamed of it. That's the reason our institution stands out here in the middle of nowhere.
Because animals would rather hide what they're afraid to face.
I couldn't have said it better myself.
As far as I know, the Wessler family wasn't exceptionally wealthy.
Indeed, they were rather poor, but we offer our services gratis.
Then how do you sustain yourselves?
By the grace of the treasury of King Hector III, of course.
I wouldn't have guessed that.
My family and the royal dynasty had always been on good terms, Mr. Santino.
What kind of a place is this exactly? I assume it wasn't built as an insane asylum.
It used to be a mansion. Construction started during the occupation in 622. Then it stood empty for almost a century, until finally it went to the crown of Cloville when Hector's great-grandfather took the throne. The rest is history.
How long have you been working here?
I've worked here for more than 30 years, but it's been in my family's possession for almost 150 years.
So if I count correctly, as soon as it went to the crown, it was seized by your family.
That's almost accurate, Mr. Featherland.
What a lovely inheritance. Tell me, Doctor, do you know Madame Zavas?
Just like everybody else, I've heard of her, but I never had the pleasure of meeting her in person. I'm sure she's an interesting case.
Oh, you can be sure about that. I'd gladly get you two together if I had the chance. A spare cell would suit her very much.
Is that so?
As it turns out, she likes small, narrow, secret places.
Oh, I see. What a coincidence.
Dr. Quetzal's a real mystery. But I can turn that to my advantage. I just need to focus on the strangest pieces of the puzzle.
So, when did Albert become a resident of your institute?
So when did Albert become a resident of your institute?
Albert and Hobart, or Ibn as you call him, arrived here almost exactly 4 years ago.
Could you describe that day more specifically?
It was not long after New Year's Eve, maybe the first week of the year, if I'm not mistaken. It was sleeting that day. Wind was banging incessantly on the windows. The power was going out for short periods of time.
What was your first impression of them?
I already knew the Wessler name. I knew who they were, or at least I knew one of them, Hobart Wessler. He was famous. Gangster, moneylender, celebrity, lover.
And Albert?
He was new to me, an invisible gray ghost. The family had tried to keep his existence a secret.
Why?
Because they were ashamed of him, of course, Mr. Featherland. That's how it usually is.
What was your first impression of him?
He was silent, but observed everything that surrounded him. His eyes were constantly moving, never stopped for a second.
Was he afraid?
I wouldn't say so. It seemed to me that he wanted to move into our institution voluntarily. It looked as if he couldn't wait to be here. alone, locked up in silence and darkness.
Didn't you think of that as unusual?
Of course I did, but who am I to judge? It was rather special treatment.
Tell me, did even a Wessler threaten you in any way? What kind of special treatment did Albert get?
What kind of special treatment did Albert get?
You know, if an institution like ours has to accept a Wessler as a guest, there's bound to be some favoritism.
And complete secrecy, I guess.
Yes, but that's the case for all our patients, Mr. Featherland.
Of course. So in what way did he receive more than the others?
Basically, we don't admit anyone into our institution without a complete and thorough prior assessment. In the case of Albert, we put that aside.
So you didn't even know if he had anything wrong with him?
Initially, no. He was more of a guest than a patient.
+10. Do you think he was a threat to others? How did you see Albert when you first met? How did Albert relate to you?
How did you see Albert when you first met?
Albert was shy and reserved, like a ghost. He almost never touched anything. It was evident he was exceptionally intelligent. He measured and observed everything around him.
What else?
He was delicate and graceful, almost like a woman. Yes, he was rather feminine. He was an artist, Mr. Featherland, a magnificent painter, and rather good writer, too. Sometimes I even heard him sing.
Why did he have to be locked up?
I asked the same thing at first.
+20, so you're doing pretty well here. Are you telling me Albert had multiple personalities?
Are you telling me Albert had multiple personalities?
We found out very quickly that there was no other reason for the cause of his seizures. He had a cold and calculating personality who sometimes, especially on stormy days, took the reins over their shared mind.
He had these seizures from the beginning.
Yes, Mr. Featherland, but they started to intensify after Albert left our institution for the first time.
He did what? Left the institution? More than once?
Oh, yes, Mr. Featherland. Albert left the institution on several occasions until the last time, when he failed to come back.
Quetzal's not only very observant, but he's addicted to details. I must focus on that if I want to get closer to the truth. Focus. Addicted to details.
You're keeping some things from me, am I right? How could you let Albert leave this place? When and why did Albert leave the institution for the first time?
When and why did Albert leave the institution for the first time?
It was about 2 years ago. Mr. Hobart Wessler appeared and demanded we let his brother go free. Naturally, we obliged. We had no idea if we'd ever see him again.
But you did.
He returned the same day. Albert was ecstatic. He was unrestrained. I could almost say happy.
That was unusual for him?
I had never seen him like that before, Mr. Featherland. He just smiled and stared at the empty wall for hours.
Did he ever tell you what happened to him outside?
Of course he did. Albert and I had a good relationship. He was working on a painting for his brother.
So that's where the piece of the painting comes from.
Was it a painting of a lovely lady cat?
Oh, exactly. So you already knew about that.
Yes, Dr. Quetzal, I've seen it.
+10. Has Albert ever talked to you about Natasha? Did Albert tell you about his relationship with his brother? Albert left on many occasions to continue working on the painting.
So Albert left on many occasions to continue working on the painting.
Exactly, Mr. Featherland. Every time he came back, he was like a different person. But unfortunately, his seizures also multiplied and became more dangerous.
More dangerous?
Albert was hurting himself. And on one occasion, he even tried to hurt me. It was unprecedented. It seemed his confined personality was taking over their shared mind entirely, piece by piece.
Do you think the painting caused it?
Not the painting, Mr. Featherland.
But its subject.
Exactly. He was obsessed, right until that fateful day when he returned to us for the last time.
What exactly happened that day, Doctor?
It wasn't Hobart who brought his brother back that day, but two of his gorillas. Not literally, I mean. And Albert was in a terrible, terrible state.
What happened to him?
I don't like to talk about that, Mr. Featherland.
It could be vital to the case, Dr. Quetzal. Don't back down.
Oh, you're right. There's no use turning back now. So, Albert's tongue was torn out, or cut off, I don't know exactly, and he was blinded in one eye, or rather, one of his eyes was missing entirely.
So you're saying Albert was brought back horribly mutilated?
Yes. And they didn't give any explanation as to what had happened. They simply told me it was some kind of accident.
Dr. Quetzal is cold and professional, but he's also very confused. Maybe it's cruel, but I must exploit his vulnerability if I want to learn everything about Albert.
+20. You didn't believe Albert had an accident, is that right? Two fellas who brought Albert back, could you describe them? I mean, we know who that has to be. It has to be the bouncers. Maybe it's not easy for you to talk about it, but did you examine his wounds totally?
Maybe it's not easy for you to talk about it, but did you examine his wounds thoroughly?
I'm not that kind of doctor, Mr. Featherland, but even I could determine his tongue was either cut out or bitten off, and his eye was gouged out. He also had several broken bones.
But there's no doubt it wasn't an accident.
I don't believe it was, Mr. Featherland.
I totally agree.
+10 again. Put yourself together, Doctor. What was Albert's condition after the incident? Concentrate, Doctor. What do you think happened to Albert?
Concentrate, Doctor. What do you think happened to Albert?
I'm sure it was Hobart. He ordered his men to mutilate poor Albert.
But why would he do that?
Maybe Albert saw something he could accidentally reveal.
To whom? The four walls? A couple of crazies? You?
To anyone, Mr. Featherland.
I don't think it's that simple, Doctor. But thank you for your honest opinion.
You're welcome, Detective.
What happened then? How did Albert disappear?
What happened then? How did Albert disappear?
A few weeks later, Hobart came to visit Albert one more time. Albert had been in terrible condition by then. We even had to transfer him to another cell, a more safe one.
What did Hobart do during the visit?
He didn't do anything. He just sat and watched his brother, who was in an almost vegetative state by then.
Couldn't you manage to draw anything out of him? You or Hobart?
Nothing. For a while, he was trying to signal something. Perhaps he was too afraid. And most likely his fingers had been broken too, so he couldn't even write.
Do you think Hobart could have killed Albert?
It's horrible to say it, but I'm sure of it.
How did he disappear in the end? Did someone come for him?
That's what's most eerie about it all, Mr. Featherland. He simply disappeared. His door, which only I had a key for, was open.
That is sus.
Did anyone see anything?
No one. We interrogated the staff, even the patients. He simply vanished off the face of the wilderness. We don't know what happened to him.
Unfortunately, I have a hunch. Thank you, Doctor. You've been a great help.
Oh, well, I'm glad I could be of help. But please, I now must attend to my work.
We understand, Doctor. Thank you.
This must be a 5-star, right? Yeah. So this is the second 5-star. Important clue. Albert Wessler disappeared. We have a hunch about what could have happened to him. Yeah, but I still have my theory that it is actually Eben that got killed and like Albert is still alive. It might be like in reverse like that. Especially if he like if his brother like tortured him and he wanted revenge for that. Half-century occupation. Since its foundation, an attempt to conquer Cloville has only been made once. Half-century occupation started in 1622 and lasted until 677. During this time, the Harar Empire took over all of Cloville's territories except its colonies. It should end with the help of Solasso and Lovaslavia took back control over Cloville. Eben most likely killed his own brother, Albert Wessler, and made Sip dispose of the body. This seems most plausible right now, anyway. I don't know. I'm not super convinced about that. And that could just be a red herring. The professor's family has owned the mental health facility and its estate for more than 100 years. He's cold, reserved, and endlessly professional in his own field, but the thing that happened to Albert even got a rise out of him. No surprises there, I think. Albert's brother even took him out of the asylum on several occasions to paint that fateful picture of Natasha. I think we have a motive, gentlemen. Do we? Albert Wessler disappeared. If we have a hunch about what could have happened to him. Well... No, why can't we leave?
That's quite shocking information.
I think you understand why we kept it a secret. If it wasn't for Mr. Wessler's demand, we'd never let any of our patients walk freely outside our institution.
Then the accident happened.
Accident? Ha! We didn't believe it, not for a second. After Albert came back to us, horribly mutilated, He was different.
Different how?
If someone got one of his eyes poked out and his tongue torn out, he'd be different, but not like this. Albert was a different person.
Was that even? That got tortured?
We believe you, Doctor. So, can we take a look at Albert's cell?
I'd rather call it his room. Mr. Wessler lived in exceptional circumstances.
Thanks to the Wessler name, I guess.
Yes. Well, we try to make all of our patients stay as comfortable as possible, but Albert certainly enjoyed special favoritism.
I hope you don't mind if we take a look around in there.
That's not going to bother anyone.
Well, that's surprising.
I've never seen a cell like this before, that's for sure. I wouldn't mind living here myself.
It seems that being a Wessler gets you privileges.
And a healthy dose of danger.
Mostly that, yeah. Let's take a good look around. I'm sure we'll find some answers here. I can almost smell them.
Well, I smell paint, ink, plaster, some kind of oil, aging paper, slight smell of rat, and great expectations.
What the dickens?
Unmistakable. Yeah.
This place is bad for you, pal. But if you've already jump-started your beak holes, then sniff out the solution.
I'm on it, Boss Bird. You know, I don't think he had it so bad in here.
You mean apart from being separated from everyone you love in an ancient mansion filled with madmen?
You're right.
As always.
A chicken police story. For a handful of waffles. Meredith H. Marble. Is this a painting?
The style. It's very familiar to me.
You've been lonely for far too long, huh?
Not funny, Marty.
It is, a little. No way! Is this some kind of puzzle?
Oh no, don't be a puzzle.
I don't think so. But we could still find something important here. A pattern, a sign, anything.
Oh, we can draw? What is this?
Look at that. A letter.
New Adam.
Scribbles. Newspaper articles. Study papers. Poems. Perfect chaos.
Just like the troubled mind of a troubled fella.
Yeah, but there's still a kind of order in it. It's just too intricate for you to comprehend.
If you say so, boss.
Identical twins. And looking at it, they may have easily loved the same woman. 2 men and 1 woman. Nothing good ever comes of that.
Well, I wouldn't say that exactly.
Of all the wild ones, Marty, please, stitch up your beak, okay?
Just use your imagination, old bird.
Little window.
A small window, a small hope. Identical twins. And looking at it, they may have easily loved the same woman. It's a piece of a painting. Judging by how well it was hidden, I'm sure this is what Natasha wanted to show us.
No, I don't exist. I don't exist because you don't see me. But I'm not what you think I am. You don't think about me, do you? Never. No. I think of you every day, every minute, always. In my dreams, I become one with him. One soul. You know who I am thinking about, right? Can you feel it? Can you feel that I'm there too? With you, do you feel it, right? I can't hold it in myself for long. Forgive me. Forgive me. Please, I'm sorry, but I can't help it. The world is crashing down. The whole world is rotting and rotting. Everything is rotting around me. I have to get out of here to become one with my destiny. And one with you. Forgive me.
Albert was madly in love with Natasha and would have done anything for her. I'm afraid he did exactly that. What do you make of this?
Apart from the fact the guy was totally insane? I don't know. What should I?
That maybe we've been chasing the wrong person all this time, Marty.
What do you mean?
Is my theory true?
Everything will be revealed soon.
Why do you have to be so melodramatic all of a sudden?
If I'm right, this'll flip the whole case upside down.
Yeah, my theory may be true after all.
What's that, Sonny? A blurb from some horrible novel?
I just have to think things through before I come to any hasty conclusions, Marty.
Ugh, you're killing me. So, what now? Where to?
Back to Clawville, where we can finally put all the pieces together.
You're driving me crazy. But all right, let's go home.
Oh, okay. But we didn't do the thing. What? What about the puzzle thing?
So, detectives, have you found what you were looking for?
Maybe.
I'm afraid we have, Doctor. And more.
I wouldn't dare to say I'm happy to hear it, but I'm glad to be of service to you.
Well, thanks, Doc.
I hope I don't offend you by saying I hope we're not going to meet anytime soon.
Not on account of either of our jobs, am I right?
Exactly.
Okay, so we can only go to the hotel.
Oh, I don't believe this. Those two again?
Really?
Take him out. My car won't last much longer.
Don't worry, Sonny. I was born to do this.
Don't shoot them, Brian. Oh, why can't we just shoot them?
A little too close for my taste, and it only strengthens my belief. Wessler is desperate.
What happened
he knows
there?
If we survive, he's done for.
Well, come
Your
on, what did you
recording
work
turned
out?
off there?
Will you tell me already?
Don't tell me that.
Sure. Let's put the picture together, piece by piece. Let's start from the beginning. So, we got a case.
The recording may have turned off there for some reason. I'm very afraid of that. God damn it. Start from the beginning. Okay. And then I try to show us a painting.
Natasha tried to show us the painting.
And letter. Oh.
And that painting would have shown us the way.
To the secret hideout of Albert Wessler. Even Albert Wessler, Albert Penn, Natasha.
To Ibn and Albert Wessler. Albert painted Natasha, so he met her on more than one occasion.
Yes, that's going to be right.
Which made Albert
escape from the asylum to live as a madman in a dark forest that surrounds the place. Fall in love with Natasha. On a fateful note, he killed his brother so he could take his place in secret and win Natasha's heart. I think this is my theory, basically.
fall in love with Natasha.
Yeah.
And on a fateful night, he killed his brother so he could take his place in secret.
So I was
and
right.
win Natasha's heart.
Case closed. I was right.
So what happens now?
The inevitable, Marty. We're going to the Wessler mansion to confront Ibn with the facts.
You mean Albert, right?
Yeah, exactly. And of course,
I was 100% right.
Natasha.
Do you think she knew about it?
Something stinks, Marty. The whole case seems too intricate.
Too many coincidences, right?
Well, well, after 10 years, you did learn something, didn't you?
9.
You're right.
Huh.
What?
You just laughed, Sonny.
What? No, I snorted.
No, you laughed.
Ah, just leave it, Marty.
I'll be telling this to my grandchicks.
All right, pal, that's enough.
Okay. So, Albert fell madly in love with Natasha and decided to have her for himself.
And his best chance was to trade places with Ibn Wessler.
So that's why the torn out tongue.
Yeah, Ibn couldn't squeal even if he wanted to.
What a diabolical plan.
More like insane.
But why the messages then? Why the threats? Albert got what he wanted. He could have got away with it.
I'm not a psychologist, Marty, but remember what the doctor told us. Albert has a seriously injured mind and a split personality. I think his two identities were at war with each other.
So the messages were written by one of his personalities, consumed by jealousy?
Something like that, Marty. But we can only learn the whole truth from him.
You're right. So, are we going or what?
We're going, Marty, to finally finish what we started.
I'm so concerned here that if we're gonna have an episode or not here, because during the car scene, the recording just switched off for whatever reason, and I don't know like how long it was off for. And I noticed it, I think, pretty fast. So I turn it back on again, but I'm very concerned here. We may only have like 10 minutes of footage here, for all I know.
Well, if there's anything you'd like to do before, do it now, boss. You won't have a chance later.
You're right, Marty. It's time to wrap everything up.
So, we are at the end of the game, it seems.
I see we're ready.
You'll need a shotgun for this kind of deal, Marty. Maybe even that won't be enough.
Nothing to fear while Bertha's here. Even less because you're here too with Mr. Sinclair, of course.
Should I cry?
That would be nice for a change. If our theory's correct, this photo will hurt more than a bullet.
That's the plan.
Do you think that'll be enough?
Enough evidence. Not in the slightest. That's why we go unannounced.
And with big guns.
Exactly.
I like this new Sonny.
There is no new Sonny. Just the old ones had enough.
You think you'll need your fake badge?
I never needed a badge, Marty.
What a punchline.
It's more like a kind of good luck charm. It reminds me of who I should be.
And? Does it work?
No, Marty, not really.
If we survive this, can we crack this open?
I'd rather keep it for a really special occasion.
You're saying I'm not special enough?
I was joking. If we survive this, we'll drink it to the last drop.
Now you're talking. It's a little outdated, but I understand why you're so attached to it.
It can pierce the skin of a rhino, Marty, and the rust brings back memories. I'm a man of bad habits.
You know, sometimes I feel like I'm one of your bad habits.
Rest assured, Marty, you are.
Ah, Her Majesty Bertha II.
My drumstick still hurts every time I see her.
Be glad you're alive. Bertha rarely leaves witnesses.
Hey, Lewis. You weren't awake all night because of us, were you?
I've never been this excited, Sonny. Seriously, it is a great honor to be part of the team. What is it?
You, Lewis, you don't stutter anymore.
What?
Just now, you didn't stutter. Not even a little.
Oh, I must be exhausted. It happens sometimes.
And it's back.
So, thanks again, Lewis. You always get us out of trouble.
Come on, boys. Don't even mention it. It is me who is grateful to be a part of an adventure of the chicken police.
Maybe the last one, too.
Hey, Sonny. Don't spoil his mood. He's so cute.
Pardon?
Nothing. I just realized. Ibn at the Tsar Club.
Yes, Marty. Albert's been Ibn for a long time now. Do you remember what Natasha said about him?
That he's been acting strange recently?
Exactly. Like he's not himself anymore.
Yeah.
And was almost hitting us in the face, huh?
Don't blame yourself, Marty. We couldn't have figured that out just by ourselves. The whole story's too twisted for that.
Well, it's how we make our living, Sonny. And I'm sure we'll have plenty more twisted cases to come.
Who knows, Marty? It's not up to us. It's mostly not up to us, in fact.
Yeah, right. Do you think the asylum was in on it? I mean, covering up Albert's disappearance?
You know that reptiles give me the creeps. One of them even set fire to that ship. But oddly enough, the doctor seemed honest to me.
He actually did.
He seemed like a patient to me. Seriously, I thought everyone was crazy in that place.
Yeah. Whoever fights monsters should see to it that in the process, he doesn't become a monster.
Are you still talking about the doctor?
Good question.
So, what's the plan? We shove the letter and our theory in his face and see what happens?
Something like that, Marty. I think our presence will be enough for the truth to come out.
I really hope you're right, Boss Bird.
We have no other choice. So I hope so too.
Do you think it's a love triangle? I mean, could Natasha love Albert as well?
Good question, Marty. But I don't think so. When I first spoke to Natasha, she told me she loved Ibn in her own way.
In her own way, huh? And could you make... So, what do you think, now that it's clearer?
I don't know, Marty, but I believe Natasha didn't mean to be bad. Not intentionally, at least.
I'm not as sure of that as you are, boss. But we'll find that out pretty soon, I guess.
I think Natasha was very much aware that wherever she goes, disaster follows her. But it's not her fault, and she can't do anything about it. There are people like that.
Really? You don't say. Someone remarkably similar came to mind right now.
You mean me, right?
Who can even read minds?
Maybe you're right, Marty. Maybe you're right.
Okay, so when you feel we can leave, just point to the place on the map and we'll be off.
Thanks, partner. I'll do that.
Wait a minute.
This fog's almost impenetrable.
Strange, but somehow this time I feel it's a good omen.
Really? How come?
I don't know. It's like the light at the end of the tunnel without the light.
Oh, you're not getting ready to die, are you, old man? If we're going on a suicide mission, I think I should know.
Why, haven't I told you yet?
You're not funny.
I never thought I'd ever look at this place and think of it as home.
Life's weird, isn't it? I didn't think that after what I did to you, we'd work together again.
You mean when you shot me?
You know I had my reasons, Sonny.
Yeah. Have I ever, apologized?
I don't think so.
Then let's leave it that way.
Hey, I apologize for shooting you, Boss Bird.
That's okay, Marty. It happens even to the best of friends.
I'll remember what you just said, and I'll never forget it.
Yeah? Well, don't try to take advantage of it.
Who, me? What do you think of me?
So we can go back?
Do you remember that case with the goat?
Which one?
When that demented wolf devoured the kids of a young goat mother, and in revenge, she cut open his stomach and filled it with rocks.
Do I remember? I'll never forget it. Hell, that was a slaughterhouse. As far as I know, she even took the remains of the kids with her. But how did that come to mind?
This was that shop. The goat mother was running it. They found the dead wolf in here.
This one exactly? Good gods.
Yeah, before it was closed down, when there was still some life here. Not even that now, just the void.
Yeah, spooky place, that's for sure.
Still, I love to live here.
Sonny, you're creepy. Did you forget anything, Sonny?
No, I just thought I'd take a look. Might be the last time I see it.
You becoming sentimental?
Who knows? Maybe I am.
Aw, that's cute.
Should I say it?
I know, Sonny. I can still get out.
But you won't.
On the beak.
Thanks, pal.
Forget about it. I'd be bored to death otherwise.
Mm-hmm. Well, I guess that's it. The Vessel Residency. A fancy mansion somewhere at the end of the world. You search on one if you're a billionaire gangster. The Fleabag tried to do away with us for the third time. Unsuccessfully, of course. I hope there's not gonna be a fourth attempt. I bet there is. Albert is Ibn Wessler himself. Hey, I can't believe that I got that right, actually. The madman took his brother's place and is trying to tie up loose ends. If we don't catch him now, it will be too late. Let's go.
The sun was shining, and all the ducks were in a row. I felt ready. The pieces of the grand puzzle were laid out on the table. I just needed to piece them all together. A revealing glance or a careless word, and I'd have the answer. I knew we were in the right place. I knew it was nearly over. Was Natasha really just a victim? Or did she know everything? Was she controlling the puppets from behind the curtain? Well, if you don't know where to go, go straight ahead. What could possibly go wrong? Here I am, Natasha. I hope you're waiting for me.
Furry gods. I knew he was rich, but wow.
Half the city is in his hands, Marty. And half the Council of 12.
I think we'll catch a big fish today.
Don't count your chickens. I'm sure Wessler's expecting us. And Natasha too, I hope.
You hope?
If I'm right, she could be our only chance of survival.
Lovely prospects, huh?
I've had worse.
Really? Quite the steed, isn't it?
Seems nowadays organized crime pays well in Clawville.
Are you surprised? The chicken police retired.
Well, they say the team's back together again.
Nah, that's impossible.
Oh yeah, it's...
What the hell is it? Water tower? Turret? A frickin' lighthouse?
I think it's a monument to an enormous ego, Marty.
Well, anyone who builds a tower this big must be trying to compensate for something.
Or he just has too much dough.
Is this a mansion? Or a grand palace?
Or a small city.
Well, if it comes to hide and seek, Old Westler will have an advantage.
A serious advantage.
Huh, one of Westler's ancestors, maybe.
Wessler's ancestors were poor cobblers. More likely, this represents what he thinks of himself.
I wonder how chivalry is compatible with organized crime.
Ibn was planning to leave the underworld.
When his twin brother tore out his tongue, poked out his eye, killed him, and took his place?
Yeah.
Oh, this place has its own greenhouse. What do you think's inside?
100% humidity and unbearable heat.
Oh, not like that. Could they be growing rarities in there?
Or maybe some chicken-eating giant flower monsters.
What? Oh, you just made that up, right? Nah, I'm sure there's no such thing.
Is that everything?
Hey, not so fast, chickens. Please excuse my partner. We didn't mean to be rude, it's just his terrible habits, as you may already know.
Ah, look what the cat dragged in.
Funny, I don't recognize them.
Well, maybe if they had some guns with them? Tommy guns?
Oh yeah, now I remember. The two suckers in the luxury van you shot to pieces. Twice.
Exactly.
What are you doing here, chickens? Would you like us to finish what we started?
We'd love to have fun with you boys, but we need to talk to your boss. And while we're at it, the lady of the house is also expecting us.
Is that so?
Yeah, that's so horny.
In that case, I guess there's no reason for us to waste your precious time. Is that right, Gabriel?
Get the hell out of our sights while there are still feathers on your skin, chickens.
Easy, pal. We're not even here anymore. Until next time, boys.
Really?
This must lead to
Oh, we can
Wessler
just
and
enter.
Natasha's suite.
Well, let's get the big guns out and kick the door down.
No need for that, Marty. We'll wait until they invite us in, like real gentlemen. Then maybe we'll need the guns. But I hope it won't come to that.
Oh, my trigger finger's itching, Sonny. Someone's gotta pay.
Relax, Marty. Someone is gonna pay. Tonight.
Yeah, just don't let it be us. Huh. I wasn't expecting to see Olivia here.
She's real close to Wessler. But how much does she know?
Much more than me, I guess.
That wouldn't be hard.
Ah, what a pleasant surprise. Hello, Olivia. Sweetie.
Get lost.
What did you say, ma'am?
Turn around and get the hell out of here now, if you want to make it out with feathers intact.
Come on, Olivia. Don't worry about us. We know what we're doing.
Martin.
Huh?
Don't you get it? You have to get out of here or you'll be in danger, and also her.
Do you mean Natasha? Please calm down, miss. We have to talk to Mr. Wessler and Miss Katsenko.
You really don't understand, do you?
Uh-oh.
What do they not understand, Olivia? So, what is it exactly that our guests don't understand?
I was trying to tell the detectives that Mr. Wessler's very tired and doesn't welcome guests this early. He gets rather irate if he's being disturbed at this hour.
I'm sure Mr. Featherland and Mr. McChicken can wait here while Ibn refreshes himself. I'll entertain them until then.
Thank you, Miss Katsenko.
Please, Sonny. I thought we've already discussed this. Call me Natasha.
Please, Natasha, can we talk to you in private?
Martin?
It's all right, Olivia. These gentlemen are my friends.
Yes, Miss Katsenko.
It's like the vegetation's trying to suffocate these beautiful walls.
Maybe it will. Maybe in 100 years, nothing will be here but plants. An endless, planet-sized jungle.
That's quite a dark thought.
Yeah, it is.
This place is incredible, but it kind of gives me the creeps.
Because you know what lies behind the beauty.
With Natasha, too?
I haven't decided yet. Not yet. First, we should talk to Natasha.
You're right, Sonny.
You know, I had a dream before we came here. I saw Natasha with a bloody mouth and red claws.
And? What does that tell you?
I don't know, Marty. I admit it. I haven't been this on edge for a long time.
I'm just angry. Truth is, I'm not entirely sure why.
Your sense of justice kicking in?
More like my sense of don't fuck with the chicken police.
The truth is, Ibn isn't really in a good shape today, gentlemen. He's rather furious. Are you sure this can't wait?
You commissioned us, Natasha, and we barely escaped with our combs intact.
So you know who left the threats?
Oh, we know much more than that, Natasha. We even know where you used to work. We talked to Madame Zavas.
Wild gods!
Why didn't you tell us?
Do you think it's easy for a woman to talk about such things, that she used to be an escort?
Along with Molly?
So you know.
Yeah, I know, Natasha. I also know all of this was a trap.
Believe me, I tried to handle things the least painfully I could. You weren't even supposed to know.
A lot shouldn't have happened. Poor Deborah shouldn't have had to die.
Dear sweet Deborah.
Cold, stiff Deborah.
Please don't say that.
A price worth paying?
You cannot think I had anything to do with that. You just cannot.
I don't know, Natasha.
Please, Sonny, tell me, what is going on?
You have to know, right?
Please.
Excuse me for making you wait, detectives. I'm having a rough morning after a long night.
Is that so? Our night was also kinda long.
To put it mildly.
I was just telling the gentleman that you were exhausted, my dear, and they should come back another time. I'll escort them out.
Oh, honey, no need for that. My door's always open to the legendary chicken police. Please, come on in, guys. Let's talk in my room.
Then this way, please.
You just stay here, my darling. I'm sure our conversation will bore you to death. Please, go and refresh yourself, or tell Olivia to go make some coffee.
Yes, dear. Whatever you like.
Please, follow me, gents.
Lead on, Wessler. So long, sweetheart.
Goodbye.
All right.
Interesting. Now that I know who he really is, he doesn't even resemble Ibn Wessler.
The painting.
This painting?
It's beautiful and rather provocative. Almost makes my comb stand up.
I'm not surprised.
But the corner is missing.
You're right, Sonny. You're quite the observer.
Well, yeah, this painting's unfortunately damaged. I don't know where the missing piece could be.
You don't know? Well, if you're interested, we know exactly where it is.
Really?
Really. It's here with us.
An insignificant little piece, isn't it? But there's an exciting cat scratch on it.
More like a rat scratch, because it's a monogram.
A.W.
That's...
Albert Wessler. He's a great painter. I don't know if you've heard of him.
Enough! Out with it already. What are you trying to say? I have no time for your childish charades.
Easy, Wessler. We'll get to that in a bit. Impressive bed. Looks cozy.
Sure is better than a cell.
That's right, Marty.
I'm not sure I understand, gentlemen.
We'll see about that.
Yeah, would you like a drink? This is a rather rare brandy. It lifts the spirits, if I may be so, poetic.
Really? Tempting, but I need to keep a clear head, Mr. Wessler.
Yeah, I've heard you don't despise a good vintage.
And I've heard you don't despise murder, Wessler. By the way, you've heard right. But everything has its place and time. Drinks, guns, dead bodies, and the truth.
Yeah, I see you're in a poetic mood as well.
More like prophetic.
And that's not a good sign.
Yeah. Are you trying to intimidate me?
No, that's not how we do business. We're gentlemen.
I really hope so.
Do you keep a revolver in your bedroom?
Yeah, a bad habit. One who has a lot to lose has a lot to fear.
I agree.
So, what do you want to know? I've heard you've been through a rather eventful few days.
Oh, you have rather good informants.
Yeah, that's true. I should tell you, I see and hear everything that happens in the city. And you are exceptionally resilient. No offense.
None taken. But tell me, are we gonna flatter each other for a long time, or are we finally done with the courting?
Straight to the point. I like it. Yeah, so let's continue like that, shall we? What do you want? How dare you intrude upon me in my own house?
Oh, forgive us. Our moral compass has been confused a little bit after someone tried to kill us several times in the last 48 hours. With fire, with machine guns. I could go on.
And while we're at it, you could answer some of our questions. If you've nothing to hide, you have nothing to fear.
And then we'll just leave you alone.
All right. I'll go along with your childish little game. I would have had a long and tedious day ahead of me anyway. So, can we start?
With pleasure, Mr. Wessler.
What did we get? Tasha tried to send us away from Wessler Estates, but why? Was she worried about us? Did she have a different motive? So dangerous lunatic. Olivia tried to shoo us out of the Wessler mansion. Strange, but she seemed quite worried about our lives. Oh, look at that. Farewell from Fowls.
I have no idea what she sees in you. But Natasha's been seriously worried about you.
Yeah, she, really worries more than usual, but it's understandable. Those disgusting messages.
Disgusting, all right. Do you know why that word exactly? Why did they write that specific word everywhere?
Since you've been to the Nile, I guess you know the answer to your question.
Didn't it bother you, Wessler? What Natasha used to do? Surely it must have upset you.
Why? Did it upset you when you discovered your wife did the same thing?
What did you just say?
What did you think, chicken? That I didn't know? Yeah, don't make me laugh. I know about everyone who ever set foot in that place. I can even tell you who Molly's regulars were, if you're interested.
You son of a bitch.
Sonny, don't.
Yes, detective?
Not yet.
You're right, Marty. It's not worth it.
You're funny, you know that?
About the painting.
Yeah. My brother Albert made it. He's a great talent, but still, he's a rather troubled individual.
Such self-criticism.
What did you say?
My partner means that you and your brother are very much alike. Identical twins, if I'm not mistaken.
Indeed. But, what does that have to do with the painting?
We'll get to that. Don't worry, Mr. Wessler. So Albert made the painting at your request, is that right? And the one that's in Natasha's room in the Tsar, too.
Yeah, exactly. Is that a crime?
No, it's not a crime in itself. This picture, it's rather strange, you know?
Why do you think so? It's just me, Natasha, and my brother.
The photo doesn't tell much in itself, yes. But if you already have the right information, suddenly it starts to talk.
Really?
He fell in love with her, didn't he?
Who do you mean?
Albert, of course. He fell in love with Natasha. All those sessions while he was painting the pictures. Were you there every time?
You mean, me?
You.
No, I mean, while Albert was painting, yeah, but I wasn't there all the time. Albert was there, all along.
And you think he could have fallen in love with Natasha? That's why he escaped? What do you think happened to him? Who tore out his tongue?
Eh, I have no idea.
Did Natasha know about what happened to your brother?
No, of course not.
Do you love beautiful things, Wessler?
Why do you ask that? Yeah, of course.
You were afraid of losing her, weren't you? To him.
Stop. Enough. If you want to ask something, ask clearly. Don't play with me. You understand?
We're just doing our job.
Then do it clearly. And quickly. Yeah, I'm really starting to lose my patience.
We visited Albert's cell and found something he seems to have forgotten to take with him in his great hurry.
That's a big mistake.
A classic, even.
What the hell are you babbling about?
This is Albert Wessler's love letter to Natasha.
More like a confession.
In which he tells her he's capable of doing anything for her, even the most horrible things.
Yeah, this letter doesn't prove anything at all. Albert is mad, insane. He's not normal. No one would believe his word, don't you understand?
But they believe yours, right? Because you're not Albert Wessler. You're Hobart Ibn Wessler, aren't you? How good it feels to be in his skin.
How dare you?
Just tell him, Sonny. I'm getting tired of this.
You're just a cheap fake, Albert. You couldn't follow in your brother's footsteps even if you wanted to. No matter how hard you tried, you couldn't get Natasha either. Am I right?
What? What did you just say?
She hates you, doesn't she? She doesn't know. She doesn't understand why. But she hates you. It's instinctive.
Yeah, what do you know? What could you possibly know about suffering and loneliness and the darkness? What could you know about hate, huh?
Alright. So this is it, it seems.
Albert is an imposter. He's not who he says he is, and might not even know who he really is. I have to concentrate on this first, to soften him up, and to avoid us being shot in the gizzard, of course.
What were you thinking, Albert? How long did you think you could keep it up?
What were you thinking, Albert? How long did you think you could keep it up?
Until the end of my life, if needs. Yeah, I cared about nothing except for her to love me. Not for who Ibn was, but for who I am.
Why did you think that would happen? Everybody noticed the change.
Yeah, I knew it would be hard, Santino. But I also knew animals see what they want to see. I didn't have to behave like Ibn. They only had to believe I'm him.
Why did you decide to take your brother's place? You wanted to wrap everyone around your dirty little fingers, didn't you?
You wanted to wrap everyone around your dirty little fingers, didn't you?
I couldn't involve anyone. You have to understand. No one besides myself, of course.
So, you included yourself in the plan. And did you agree with you?
Do you think it's funny, Santino? The position I'm in? Do you think I did it for power?
You wanted to rule over something, didn't you? Especially over Natasha.
I wanted to rule my fate. My actions, my will, myself. And yeah, then over everyone else who ever did me wrong, or who I once loved.
Such selflessness.
Selflessness? Don't make fun of yourself, Sonny. Selflessness is the refuge of the weak and cowardly. Tell me, did you act out of selflessness when you decided to involve your partner in all this?
No, Mr. Wessler, but it's not about me.
You see? You two are just hypocrites, pathetic statues. But under your stone skids, you're nothing but rotting corpses.
Have you ever thought that maybe you should have become a psychologist?
Yeah, you won't be laughing for long, Santino. I guarantee it.
-5. Does it make you happy to control others, Albert? Did you enjoy tearing out your own brother's tongue? How did it feel? Did you have to mutilate even? Why didn't you just kill him immediately? Did you ever believe that you were even a wrestler? I have no idea here what to ask. None.
Did you enjoy tearing out your own brother's tongue? How did it feel?
Yeah, you think you know everything, don't you? You know nothing. It was the sacrifice of a lifetime. But most are too cowardly to act when the time comes.
On the contrary, it's a cowardly act. Is that why you hate yourself so much, Albert?
Don't call me that, you hear?
I can't help it. That's your name.
Albert Whistler's dead, Mr. Featherland.
Oh damn, -40.
What would you have done if Natasha found
This is not
out?
going well.
Kill her too?
You know what? Maybe yeah. Maybe I would have ended myself too.
Narcissistic pricks like you never commit suicide, Albert.
Yeah. Are you sure you want to insult someone who's pointing a revolver at your stomach, detective?
Failed. Really? Concentrate on the focus. What is the focus?
Albert is an imposter. He's not who he says he is, and might not even know who he really is. What were you thinking, Albert?
Until
what?
Yeah.
I mean, the first one was correct, wasn't it? I don't remember.
You wanted to wrap everyone.
I couldn't.
So,
Do you think
you wanted?
I wanted
Such
self?
No.
You see?
Have you?
Yeah.
No. Wow. What did you ask the first time? That was wrong.
Does it make you happy to control others, Albert?
I was never the type. Not until I become one with my brother. He was different. He lived for this. He wanted to rule everything he set his gaze upon.
Haven't you done the same with Natasha?
I did, Detective. Yeah, exactly the same. And that's when I started to become one with my brother.
Do you mean before brutally mutilating and killing him?
Yeah, long before that, Detective.
Still minors.
What made you think you could deceive Natasha?
Because Natasha loved Ibn, in her own unique way. Yeah, and if there's anything that can blind an animal, it's love and hate. Everything revolves around these two things, Mr. Featherland.
Is everything black and white to you?
No, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Everything is gray in this world. Only two things have color.
Love and hate?
I see you understand now, Sonny. Yeah, we're not that different, you and I.
Albert, you're everything I'm not. And I'm everything you're not, believe me.
Yeah, if that makes it easier for you, Detective.
Plus 10. That was your plan. Take his place and live happily ever after.
That was your plan. Take his place and live happily ever after.
Why? Isn't it good enough of a plan, Mr. Featherland? It was perfect, even in its imperfection.
Which is?
Ibn's ghost.
His what?
Please don't take it literally, Mr. Chicken. I'm not talking about spirits. When Ibn died, I didn't just take his place, but also his role. He himself, his essence, if you will. Yeah, though I guess that's too much for you to understand.
So you mean Ibn's here with us even now?
He was here all along. Don't you get it? I am Hobart Ibn Wessler.
I must get serious, because looking at the gun in Wessler's trembling hand, I'm afraid I don't have much time. Albert is a cruel psychopath, but maybe I can turn that cruelty against him.
When was the moment you decided to kill him, Albert?
When was the moment you decided to kill him, Albert?
When I drew the last stroke on that fatal painting, Mr. Featherland. When I glanced at it for the last time, and then at Natasha, who was shivering under the weight of my gaze.
You simply fell in love with her? End of story?
Not in the slightest, Mr. Featherland. Love is, just chemistry. What I felt was more than that.
Everybody thinks that, Albert. But we all feel the same. We're just fools.
No, Mr. Featherland. Not at all. At that moment, I knew what I was gonna do. I knew that the world was coming to an end if I didn't do it. It implodes on itself and ceases to exist. I couldn't let that happen. I couldn't.
Let him have her, right? You simply wanted her for yourself.
I wanted her for ourselves, Sonny. I was him by then. He just didn't know it yet.
Plus 10. Here's the cheap copy. You know that, right? You think you can explain everything with your insanity. When you're leading everyone by the nose, didn't you? What did you do that made Ibn get you locked up?
What did you do that made Ibn get you locked up?
That's a sharp turn, Detective.
It just came to me, you know? Where did it all start? Where did all the hate and jealousy come from?
Jealousy? What are you talking about?
Oh, come on, Albert. Alone, locked up at the end of the world, while your brother is one of the most influential figures of Clawville, driving an expensive car, living in a mansion, with the city's most desirable woman in his bed. Why wouldn't you be jealous?
Yeah, Albert was jealous of Ibn. Maybe he still is. But I understand why he did it. Albert was beyond control and dangerous.
What does that mean exactly?
Albert did our mother wrong. Poor old Mom. She never hurt a fly. But Albert couldn't take that she was praising his brother all the time while Albert was just an unsuccessful, foolish, poor painter.
What did you do to her, Albert?
Albert killed her. It looked like an accident, but Ibn knew it wasn't. That was the last straw. Albert had to be locked up, and he agreed. He never said no to his brother.
But he never forgot who did this to him either, did he?
Ibn was really good to him. Visited him every week. Did everything he could. Even introduced Natasha in the end.
And that was his downfall.
Both of them, Sonny. And yours, too.
Plus 5. When did you decide that we two have to die? Did you hate Ibn or yourself more, Albert?
Did you hate Ibn or yourself more, Albert?
Albert hated himself the most ever since he was born. He idolized Ibn. But every time his brother stood before him, he saw what he could have been himself if he had enough strength. But he didn't. Albert had always been a coward, a pitiful nobody.
And now?
Finally, there's no more Albert. And no more Ibn either. It's only me, and for both of them, I'm perfect.
Can it be that the fear is making you say these things, Albert?
Stop calling me that.
I have to call you something. What should I call you? What name should I use?
I don't know anymore. I don't.
I'm very close to breaking him. But if I'm too hard on him, I could quickly be signing my death warrant. It's time to dig a little bit deeper and uncover Wessler's wounds.
Natasha was kind to you, right? Too kind. As you still had a spine, you'd put that gun to your own head.
Natasha was kind to you, right? Too kind.
Natasha was simply amazing, gentle, kind, lively, but still so distant.
You're telling me.
It's like she was from another world. A world where everything's full of charm and grace and everything's fragile and delicate. Do you understand?
I think I do, yes.
I knew Albert's touch would harm her. Albert is rough. Albert can't keep such a delicate thing in his arms.
That's why you had to become Ibn, am I right?
I didn't take Ibn's place, Mr. Featherland. I became one with him, can't you see? It's the only way I could comprehend and accept the miracle that was Natasha.
Was?
I think I've corrupted her. She's not that gentle and pure creature I painted on the canvas anymore. I ruined her. She became rotten under my hands.
Maybe it's not too late, Albert. Tell her the truth and end this.
Maybe it's not too late, Albert. Tell her the truth and end this.
No. You can't understand this. She can't either. I killed Ibn, but he also killed me, can't you see? We're nothing without each other.
You can't be two people at the same time, Albert. Nobody can bear the weight of the sins of two souls.
Ibn loved her. I admired her. Ibn was crazy about her. I've been crazy for a long time. Ibn idolized her, and I hated her. And if there's anything more blind, more devoted, more extreme, and more true than love, it could only be hate, Mr. Featherland. It's an endlessly exciting, thrilling, and warm feeling. And infinitely red. Just like love.
You know you're not going to be able to go through with it, right? That you won't be able to carry the weight. But you still did it. Why?
Yeah, if I didn't kill him and become one with him, Albert would have died, Mr. Featherland.
And the threats? Which one of you was that? Albert or Ibn? Who wrote them? And which one of you killed Deborah?
In my world, Ibn and I are inseparable. Just like love and hate are one and the same. And I hate Natasha so much that I could destroy myself along with her, just so she would die with me. Are you familiar with this feeling, Mr. Featherland?
More than life itself.
You see? We're not so different after all.
You and I have nothing in common, Wessler. You know why?
Why, Mr. Featherland?
Because if I were in your shoes, I would have pulled the trigger a long time ago.
Goodbye, Sonny.
So long, Albert.
Oh, we did it? That one was strange. Albert is even a Wessler himself. The madman took his brother's place and is trying to tie up loose ends. If you don't catch him now, maybe it will be too late. It's gonna be a shootout? He's gonna shoot himself, right? What? Oh.
So, you heard everything.
I heard everything.
I'm sorry you had to find out like this.
And thank you. If it weren't for you,
Yes, both of you would be dead, I know. But believe me, I still thought carefully before firing.
About who to target.
You know, I truly loved Ibn.
But this man wasn't him. You felt it, didn't you?
Maybe I even knew it. I don't know. But I still can't believe it.
It won't be easy to process for any of us.
I'm sorry I dragged you into this. And regarding Molly,
the cops. But how? How do they know?
I have no idea, Marty.
do not look at me. I did not call them.
Olivia?
Don't worry, Natasha. They won't lay a finger on you. I promise.
Please, Sonny. You don't need to worry about me.
I don't want to be rude, Sonny, but I'm more worried about us than her. Hello, boss.
Hello, boys.
Before you say anything, we can explain.
No need for that, Santino. Monica already told me everything.
Monica?
Hey, boys. What were you thinking? That I would just let you get killed without saying goodbye?
Thanks, Mon. Should we say we owe you one?
You know already, boys. Shoes are my weakness.
Hey, mine too.
Of all that's furry, we don't want to hear that. And boys,
Yes, boss.
don't believe you'll get away with it so easily. I want a report on my desk from both of you with all the details. Am I clear?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. It'll all make sense, believe us. Right after I figure out myself what the hell just happened.
What Marty's trying to tell you is that we had good reason to investigate outside the law. But we're sorry.
What happened to you, Sonny? You're sorry? Did you hit your head?
Why does everybody keep asking that?
Why indeed?
So can we go now, boss? Without getting handcuffed?
Don't give me ideas, Santino.
Thanks, boss.
So that's it. What a surprise, in the end, she was the one who pulled the trigger and saved us. But of course, if it was for her, we wouldn't have been in this situation in the first place. That is true. The old man's small, hairy heart softened in the end. Her all it took was the downfall of a gangster empire, nothing more. Monica knew what we were up to and informed the boys just in time. If not for her, Mr. Scoons would have most likely riddled us with bullets. But who is this? And why can't we click on this? We missed somebody. Right. Albert would have done anything to prevent his secrets from emerging, but it was too late. Natasha felt something wasn't right with him. And Albert knew he couldn't get away with it. It's simple. Deadly simple.
What will happen to her now?
I don't know, Marty. I have no idea. So, what now? Where to next?
I think I should mourn, right?
You should.
But I don't know what to feel anymore, Sonny.
I understand, Natasha. You know, if you need anything,
Yes, I know where to find you.
see you around, sweetheart.
ma'am.
Goodbye, detectives.
Thanks again, Mon. If not for you, those furheads would have put holes in us.
No wonder, since you put holes in their boss.
Well, actually, that wasn't us.
Then who was it?
Natasha.
Really? I wouldn't have thought it of her. It's a pleasant surprise.
It was for us too, believe me.
What? Are you waiting for me to change my mind?
No, sir.
Then stop pecking around here.
Yes, sir.
Timothy's here.
How the hell did you find your way here, Tim? Always where the trouble is.
Sometimes I think you're the criminal mastermind behind all the dark dealings in this city.
I wish.
I wish too, because then we could legally throw you in jail.
I love your sense of humor, Sonny.
I wasn't joking.
So, where did you get the scoop?
Are you kidding me? The whole city's talking about you. You've left quite the mess behind.
That I admit.
Well, it's a miracle that all of the city's smear sheet journalists aren't here already. Oh, while we're at it, will you give me an exclusive interview?
Clock off, Tim.
Hey!
This is how it ends, like we don't even get the end credits. That's a bit weird, isn't it? Really? Oh, look at this.
Gentlemen.
Gentlemen?
We're honestly very sorry it had to end like this.
Yeah, this peacefully.
For myself, I'm glad, gentlemen. I would have sincerely regretted it if we had to shoot both of you, but unfortunately, that seemed to be the only solution to this rather nasty situation. Fortunately, it didn't turn out that way. Joyful.
Don't think we'll be behind bars for long, chickens. Whistler may be dead, but his empire still won't crumble.
Oh, look at that. He can talk.
In complex sentences, too.
Yeah, or something like that.
Amazing.
You're a good boy, Bosco. Nice work.
You know, folks, somebody's gotta take care of the real police work while you're tearing up the city.
Sorry for the mess, Bosco, but you know us.
Yeah, unfortunately, I do.
How did you catch them? After the gunshot, I was sure these two would show up. They have a habit of doing that.
They were already in cuffs before then, Sonny. We had the house surrounded. If you could have hung on, maybe nobody would have died.
Hey, a second longer and it would have been us.
That's your story?
Cluck you sideways, Bosco.
Hey, Olivia.
Marty?
I just, wanted to thank you.
For what exactly?
For trying to save us.
I didn't do it only for you, believe me. I loved my job while I had it. Now my employer's dead, so I don't have a job anymore.
I didn't even think of that.
Of course you didn't.
Can I do anything to help?
I think I'll manage. I always do.
This is just a weird ending of a game, isn't it? Like, we can't go anywhere. Well, I guess that is it. Oh, this was a really cool game. I liked it. I especially liked the music and the aesthetics. Very cool. Well, if you like this, please leave a like and a comment and subscribe if you will. And thanks for watching. Bye bye.